Hey guys, thank you for joining me today for our online programming. My name is Mary Ann Wright, and I'm a 4-H area educator for Lincoln University Cooperative Extension. Let's start by reciting the 4-H pledge. I pledge my head to clearer thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, and my health to better living, for my club, my community, my country, and my world. Thank you very much. So today we're going to be talking about health. Now, most often when we think about health, we think about our physical health. We think about exercising and staying fit and eating healthy, but there are other components to maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And physical health is just one component of that. We also have spiritual health and emotional health, social health, and mental health. So all of these other aspects of health don't have anything to do with sort of the outside appearance of our body. It's all internal. So today we're going to talk a little bit about those and ways that we can improve and make sure that we're maintaining good mental and emotional health, especially while we're social distancing. So I mentioned that one of the aspects of having a healthy lifestyle is social health. And that can be hard now because obviously we're at home and we're not seeing people that we're used to seeing. We might be separated from our friends and family, and that can be hard. And so we want to make sure that we're still having that social component of our daily life. And luckily, we have lots of different avenues to explore that. We can always call those people, video chat, email, text. So luckily, we do have options, and we want to make sure that we're staying in contact with those people. And maybe we're even thinking outside of our normal friend zone and expanding it a little bit to make sure that we're checking in with other people that we might not see as often, but we want to make sure that they're doing well and that they still have some sort of social interaction on a daily basis, because that helps them lead a healthy lifestyle. Another component that we're going to talk today is about our mental health, and this can be something that a lot of people struggle with because it's hard to pinpoint what that means exactly. And sometimes we don't feel like we have control of how we think. But when we talk about mental health, we really want to focus on positives versus negatives. There's different techniques on how to deal with different kinds of stresses in our lives. And so we're going to break down and talk a little bit about stress today in the context of how it improves our mental health and how it can actually hurt our mental health and emotional health if we concentrate too much on negatives and stressful situations. So there are several different types of stress, and those can be really big things, and it can be also smaller things that still cause stress in our lives. So there's childhood stress. So those can be events that happen in your childhood that still affect you when you grow up, still things that you think about, and it also kind of determines how you think and how you process different things. So we have childhood. We also have short-term stress. So that could be something like your car breaking down, or it could be a test that you're studying for. So those are events that are just one little moment in time, but they still can be very stressful. Then we have long-term stress, and this could be something like your job, where it's day in and day out. You're going to a job that maybe is causing you stress. You're worrying about it. And so long-term stress is another thing that we have to deal with. We also have major life events. This could be the death of a loved one. It could also be something happy, but something that still might cause stress. So maybe a big birthday celebration, but you're having to prepare for all of that. You might be stressed about seeing people there or getting plans made for the party. So it can be a negative or a positive, but those major life events is also a stressful thing. We also have stressful conditions. So these are situations that you might be living in. So if you're homeless or if somebody's worried about not having enough food, those are big time stresses that might be out of our control, but it's something that we're having to deal with, and that is a major stress when you think about that. So those differ for different people, but they can also be a very, very major thing. But then we also have good stress. So good stress is, getting a project done, pushing yourself, and making sure that you have that to the best of your ability and you're putting out your best work. So those are things that can be a good thing too. Stress isn't always bad. So today we're going to talk about some of the stresses that could be a negative thing and how we cope with those, different techniques that we have for dealing with stress in our lives. There's lots of different ways to do this. First of all, there's kind of the take charge up front things that we can do. So that is, really getting our priorities straight. That could be something as simple as making a list of things that you have to get done, concentrating on the major things, and really letting some of those smaller things maybe fall away, or just putting them in order so we're not focusing on all of it at the same time. We also need to identify exactly what it is that's causing our stress, and that is a good way to start, is by knowing what you're actually stressed about. We also want to think about things and think about our ability to complete something before we commit to it. A lot of times we overcommit to things. There's so many things that we can do, so many activities we can participate in, that sometimes we overcommit, and that can lead to some stress in our life. We also don't want to dwell on things. This can be hard because sometimes you might do something wrong and then you just think about it. But we have to remember that we have to let some of that stuff go, especially if it's in the past. So really concentrating and working on not dwelling on things that have already happened and that are no longer in our control. We also want to focus on healthy ways to relieve stress. So these can be doing a physical activity, something we really enjoy doing. It might be reading a book or listening to music. It might be going for a walk, getting outside of your house and exploring the outdoors. Those are really healthy ways to relieve some stress. We also can talk to somebody, and this can be hard sometimes, especially if you're at home and maybe the people around you are what's causing your stress. And so it's sometimes hard to find people to talk to, but there are lots of different outlets and ways you can do that. That can just be even a conversation online to somebody that you trust, and you can help work through your feelings with them. Also, you can talk to yourself and really try to work out things. So that might be a technique that you try. It might be something as simple as counting in your head to really calm down, or again, making a list in your head. So sometimes just talking things out with yourself can help. But today we are going to do a small activity that's fairly simple, and I hope that you have most of the items used for this activity in your house already and you can make this. But we're going to be making our own stress balls. And it's a fun thing, and even if you're not really stressed out, you can still make these. They're great to give as presents. You can make several, but just have them around and play with them. They also work well just to act as almost like a fidget activity if you just want something to do with your hands while maybe you're watching TV. It's fun to try. So these are the items that you're going to need today. You're going to want to get some plain all-purpose flour. You're going to need an empty soda or water bottle, and we want to make sure that it's clean, so wash it out and make sure it's dry on the inside. You're also going to want just a plain balloon, a funnel, and a spoon. And then also important for this one is to have a dishcloth or some paper towels, because this can get messy, so you want to make sure that you're trying to prevent that up front. So I have a dishcloth laid out in front of me for this activity. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to take our empty water bottle or soda bottle and put it in front of us, and you're going to put the funnel right in the top. And what we're going to do is we are going to put several spoons of flour into our soda bottle. And so just get your flour and hold your cup here. And I'm going to start out with 4 large spoonfuls of flour. So don't worry if you get a little bit on your dishcloth here, because that's what it's there for. So you're not spilling it all over your kitchen or your table. So I'm going to start with 2. And you might have to shake your funnel around a little bit so the flour actually goes into your bottle. So I'm just going to shake until I get those first 2 spoons into my bottle there. And then I'm going to add 2 more spoons of flour. So you can play around with the amount of flour that you use. You might decide you want more, or maybe your balloon is a little smaller and you want a little bit less. But I always like to start with 4. Just take your time emptying that funnel into your bottle. Flour can clump up a little bit, so that's why I just want to empty that. So now I have my soda bottle with some flour in the bottom. So I'm going to put my other flour away for now. And now we need our balloon. What we're going to do is we're going to take our neck of our balloon, and we're just going to very gently, so we don't poke a hole in it, work up until our balloon starts to round off. And we're going to put that whole neck on the top of our soda bottle. So you see that whole neck. So now I just have kind of the part that curves above there. Now, the soda bottle is very important, because if you try to put flour directly in your balloon with your funnel, it's not going to work very well, because there's not a lot of air in there. You're going to have a hard time getting the amount of flour you need. So this bottle is going to work by pushing not only our flour, but also air into our balloon. So it blows the balloon up a little, and that way you can deposit all of this flour into your balloon. So now I'm going to hold my balloon and the neck of my bottle, because we don't want it popping off, because then you will have flour everywhere. So we do not want to do that. So make sure you have this very tightly in your hand. And what we're going to do is we are going to squeeze our bottle while holding the neck. And our hope is that the flour goes into the bottom of our balloon here. So let's try it. You might have to squeeze a few times, but you see here, I have my balloon that sort of blew up a little bit, and the flour. So I'm going to keep my one fist kind of clenched here on the bottle, because if you release that, the air in the bottle is going to suck that flour back up into the bottle, and we don't want that. So just keep a good grip on here. And now we are going to loosen the neck of our balloon. Now, this is important again, because we don't want flour to pop off everywhere. So I'm going to try to secure the flour in the balloon with my hand by pulling down, and then I'm going to kind of tighten it off and then pull this up. So see, I did get a little bit of flour, but I don't want to lose all of that. So again, it's okay. Flour can easily clean up, but we don't want it to get everywhere. So now I have the neck of my balloon. I'm going to empty out any flour that's kind of stuck in there below my grip on my actual balloon. And then I'm going to just tie a knot in the top of my balloon here. So all the flour and that little bit of air is now in the bottom. And so now it's the perfect stress ball consistency with that flour and that just a little bit of air in our balloon. So this is essentially your stress ball. So if you want to stop now, you can, but I think it's fun to add a little bit of expression with our stress ball. So just with a permanent marker, you can add silly faces to your stress ball. You might have it match the personality of the color of your stress ball. So maybe your blue might be a sad stress ball. If you have red, maybe it looks angry. Maybe if you have a yellow one, you can make happy face. But you can have very expressive stress balls. And again, these are just fun, easy things. And if you're feeling stressed out or angry, you can grab one of these and just concentrate on what your hand is doing and clear your mind. And it's a way that you can really reduce your stress in a very simple way. So I hope you try this. Share them with your friends. Give them away to your family members. You can even joke and say, like, when I stress you out, here's a little activity to alleviate some of that stress. So it's a fun activity, and I hope you'll try it. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you join me again tomorrow for our online programming. Again, my name is Mary Ann Wright, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.